I'll turn the time over to Bailey and Nick.
Hello, hello. I think that's us.
Hi, everybody.
Everyone. Oh, I love the cameras on. Oh my goodness, this is so cool.
Right?
This is really neat to be able to see
Faces
all
to
of
the
you.
names. That's fantastic.
I'd love to see in chat where y'all are joining us from. Nick and I are here in downtown Seattle, Washington. So it's just 2 p.m. in the afternoon for us. It's a beautiful spring day.
Yeah, we're doing all right today
Yeah.
for Seattle, given the reputation that we have for the gray skies over
right,
here.
That's the don't tell them.
Yeah,
we actually have a gorgeous spring and summer and fall. But this is really exciting. This is like the first big partnership thing we've done with Michaels.
Absolutely.
Maybe you've seen Glowforge in your local Michaels store. We do have 158 Michaels locations and hopefully more that stock our proof grade materials. So that might be something you've seen. They don't have holes in them at
Michaels. That is true. Yeah, you have to make those holes yourself.
Exactly. But Nick and I actually have been with the company Glowforge for 6 years each or so. Yes. So we were a tiny baby startup of 15 people when we launched on like a Kickstarter-esque crowd fund. And here we are 6 years later.
Exploded ever since.
There's like 50,000 or more people printing on Glowforges all the time.
Millions of prints.
Exactly. It's very exciting. So like I said, we have 158 Michaels locations with proof grade. It's basically all major markets. And then it's also online if your local store like mine sadly does not have it. And then the Plus and the Pro, this is the Glowforge Pro. We also have a Plus unit as well, same size. Those are sold online on michaels.com as well. So yeah, today we're going to print, I think, 3 different prints, bunch of different materials, both from our line of materials, proof grade, and from stuff that we picked up in Michael's store. I had a little bit of a freak out. I was like, this whole aisle I could put in a Glowforge.
But my budget's $20. Like, what are we gonna do?
So I've been ignoring the chat and y'all are coming through. I asked a question.
That's amazing.
So I see people joining all over Washington, D.C., Alabama, Russellville, Arkansas.
Wow.
Pflugerville. Did I get that right? Texas. I love that. Wow. It's
amazing to see how many of you there are.
15 degrees in Missoula, Montana. Really?
15?
15.
That's chilly.
Oh, my uncle just moved to Montana. Maybe I'll visit him
take a jacket,
later in the year. Yes, I wanted to mention, I see Maddie saying this in class, but in the chat, but if you want to watch this afterwards, it'll be available on the Michaels YouTube channel.
Absolutely. I would encourage you to interact with the chat as well. Any questions you have, if we gloss over something's not clear, throw it in there. If we can get to it, we'll go back to it. Bailey mentioned we're going to do 3 prints, but who knows, if things go well, maybe we'll do more. Well, let's just see what we can fit into the next, what have we got, an hour?
Yeah, we have until 3 o'clock our time.
Perfect.
I'm seeing a couple questions come. Well, and we want to kick off with the print to keep it interesting.
Yes.
But I'm already seeing some Glowforge questions come through that I want to make sure I answer. So where and how do we get the un-Glowforge material settings? I love that.
Un-Glowforge.
So probably what that means is, and a huge thing to understand about Glowforge, Glowforge is a laser cutter that can cut, score, and engrave hundreds of different materials. And so we put together a line of materials that we sell and that are instantly recognized by Glowforge. They're coded with QR codes, like the menu at that we scan on all our phones now. And so we have proof grade leather and hardwood and plywood and a drafting material and
veneer. Thin slice of hardwood with a self-adhesive backing, like wooden stickers.
Yeah, but we didn't want you to be limited to our materials, and you're not. And in fact, you can engrave and cut and to your heart's delight on lots of other materials. So here's some here. If we go to our overhead cam.
Let's see if I can just, oh no, I need to move it forwards. So just a few examples for you here. This is just thin cardstock or like heavyweight copy paper, if you like. There are settings for that built into the app. And quite frequently, we develop new settings for materials that we don't sell, knowing that people are really interested in printing on it. So you'll find this one in the app. This one is I think it's, now I'm going to pronounce it incorrectly. It's the wood that begins with AC, Akea, something like that. It is a serving tray that we just bought online. We don't have settings in the app for this specific material, but all we did was pick a wood that was somewhat similar.
Right.
So I think for this one, we picked cherry, we engraved it using those settings, and it turns out just fine. And for that point, really what you can do with Glowforge and the app that we have right now and all the settings that are in there is kind of riff on what we have. Find something that seems kind of similar, give it a little test print, maybe on the back or in a second version of what you have.
Right.
And if it doesn't quite look right, maybe it's not dark enough, you can slow it down or increase the power. Or maybe if it went too deep or it was too dark, you can increase the speed or decrease the power. And then from there, you can save those settings. So you can bake those into your own app experience.
Like, for example, spoiler alert, today we're going to print on a Slate coaster. We can actually get started with that. Why don't we?
Oh, yeah.
And we have the settings already saved in our Glowforge. But if we didn't, I see y'all asking in chat, where do we get settings for non-Glowforge materials? We actually have an amazing community forum. I think it's one of the best things about a Glowforge is how many other people have them and spend a lot of time with them and love them, and the amount of crowdsourced information that you get. So if you go to community.glowforge.com, you'll see what I mean. Don't go now because you'll never come back. But
yeah, please wait.
But, you could type in something like Slate or pumpkin pie or macaron or stamp rubber, and people will have posted in there for the last 5 years or so. Their different experiments where they've sourced the material, what they've tried, and what the results are. And it's brilliant. I mean, there's even a really elaborate spreadsheet, isn't there, that somebody's come up with?
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I think people take pride in providing that information, which is really nice. For us, we were stretched pretty thin when the company was new. And it was really great to have that community out there doing a lot of the work that we really wanted to do, but just didn't have the capacity for. So I have to be honest, we rely on them for a lot of this stuff. If we're doing a live stream, we find a material that we want to experiment with, we will definitely personally go to the community forum and see if somebody else has already tried it. Chances are they have. Yeah.
So you just saw while Nick was talking, I popped that Slate coaster. Again, this is something I bought at my local Michael's. And so this is Slate. It has little foam feet on the bottom. I think it was, oh gosh, I don't know exactly, but maybe like $10 or something for a pack of a few of them.
Yeah, not much.
Engraved beautifully.
Sorry, just breaking things over here.
Whoa! So yeah, you just put your item in the Glowforge right on top of the crumb tray, and you can see now this, oh, that's not, that's the overhead cam. I was like, you can see it in the app. We're not there yet.
We will be in just a second. I actually grabbed this piece of paper just to show you this, but inside the app, and that's what we're seeing on the screen right now, is actually a view that's inside the Glowforge.
Oh, so we're gonna pop this in?
I'm gonna pop this in. Right now, the studio lights are kind of making this seem extra dark inside. So all I'm gonna do is take a piece of paper and pop it underneath the coaster. And this is just going to help us, for this demonstration, show you the edges of this material. And when we jump back over to the app itself on my computer, you'll see it scanning for a moment. And in the middle, that image is going to update, and we're going to see that green square just like that. So still a little dark because of the studio lights, but we can manage with this, that's for sure. But the cool thing about this, and this is my favorite feature, is we are looking at how would you put it? Like what you see is what you get sort of interface. We are dragging and dropping digital things like these icons here on top of physical things like the coaster here. And that's where your print will go. It's as simple as that. And everything about this app is probably already quite familiar to you. If you've used word processing software, PowerPoint, things like that, copy, paste, rotate, scale, all those things, it's pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
And you can't really go wrong. Just get in there, dig in, click some things. You can always undo.
Right.
Command or Control Z undoes. Very, very simple. But I'll show you very quickly now how we can build up a design. Now, this particular app is provided by Glowforge. Everyone gets access to this when you buy your machine. It is web-based. So it doesn't matter if you're on a Mac or a PC, or if you want to use your iPad or something similar. So long as you can get to the internet, you can you can use this app. There is, in fact, nothing to download.
No, right,
that is the point.
Exactly.
Ignore that I even said that. And the nice thing about that, well, for many reasons, is every time that you log in, you are using the latest and greatest version of this. And we have a software team that's dedicated to the app, and they spend a lot of time working on new features and bug fixes and things like that. And in fact, just to show you one that we released just the other day, if you start to click and drag things around in the app now, you can see those little dotted green lines. If I zoom in a little bit more, this is auto, snap, and align. So you can align different objects within your prints. And that's something that was requested, something we worked on, and something we released. And everybody now has access to that. Now, there's a number of different tools in here, and I like to think of Glowforge software as sort of a compositing tool.
Right.
You can bring in lots of different things from all different places. If you're a Cricut user, for example,
right,
You could export an SVG from your Cricut software. You could bring it into Glowforge, and you could print that with your Glowforge.
And I see somebody in chat saying that they use Canva. So
Oh, there we go, Canva, perfect.
Any type of, and you can also use, of course, the more sophisticated design programs out there too, if that's your cup of tea.
Yeah, Adobe Illustrator is what I grew up with, so that's what I tend to use. But in the app, the point is you can bring in things from multiple different places. So it could be Cricut for your more complex design. Maybe you have a photograph that's from your phone, and you can upload that if it's a JPEG or a PNG or a standard image file. Let's say, for example, you have a logo that's in Microsoft Word. Export as a PDF, you can bring that in too. And within the app itself, we can start to arrange all those different elements. There is also within the app text tools, shape tools, and icon tools, which are pretty cool. So I'm going to jump into this one right now just to show you. And this is an icon library of over 3 million different graphics.
Oh, this is amazing.
Which is pretty rad. I was looking earlier on, I think for craft, which is where I picked these 3 icons from underneath, but you can search and find a whole bunch of different things. And already in this design that I started to put together, I've got some glue and some scissors. And I was thinking about it, maybe a paintbrush to add to this collection too. So I can, oh yeah, there's one right here, look, let's use that. And all we do is click on it. It brings it into our design, processes it, and it is right there ready to go. And all I have to do is drag it around. I'm going to rotate it just like this so it matches the sort of shape of the other ones. Looks like our spacing's a little bit off, something like that. That looks pretty good. And this is how we build up our design. Again, if we wanted to add some text, we can head into here. We can type in a word. We can develop that into some text that we can then scale, copy, paste, rotate. There are, how many fonts in here do you think there are?
Oh,
it's a Google font library, so it's probably tens of thousands.
I like how I find it really nice how they're arranged too into like the handwritten and the unique and everything. Because otherwise I just, I'm looking for something. I have something in mind, of course. You don't go and you totally blind to a font search.
Absolutely.
Usually.
Yeah.
They're wondering in chat, what did we search to get that outline for Suzanne? So I think they saw, right there. Yeah, there are.
There's one right here.
That's a frame, I believe, that I got also from that.
Yeah. I think if we search for frame, we can come up with
Floral
things like
frame,
that. Yeah,
ivy.
There's all sorts of different options in here. And there's also, as far as I remember, let's see. There is a feature called pattern lines that we also just released.
Oh gosh,
so
I don't even know about this.
Create this circle right here using the text tool, and then go to this option here on the right-hand side, pattern lines. I can choose from a variety of different things here, including something like seamless pattern. And from here, we've got a bunch of different floral patterns right here.
You're blowing my mind right now, Nick. But
I don't get to play with these very often. It's cool for me to see as well.
Yeah.
But there's tons of different options, and you just select one of them. There's lots of options if we want to change the size and offset and things like that. And then we just click create, and that pattern is there.
Oh my gosh.
And then we can adjust these if we want to, and that's going to update the pattern. We can flip it if we want to change the direction. And you can very quickly see how you can build up really cool designs and shapes. And I was going to mention this too. I'm glad someone picked on Suzanne's design because that's circular. Yeah. And I know for a fact when I'm working on craft designs, trying to get text into a circular shape can be kind of tricky.
Right.
But we did build in a sort of a word art type feature within the text tool. So if we were to do, your text here, something like this, your text here, like that. Let's apply that. And then we have our standard text that's going to appear. And then under this section here, style, we can pick from a whole host of different ways to manipulate that text. It's going to be a little slow to load here in the office because we're got a lot of stuff on the Wi-Fi, but you'll notice that we've got a circle option right there. And by clicking that, that's going to turn this straight line into something that's circular. So if we're trying to get our design onto something like a round coaster, it's super, super easy to do.
Wow.
Just like that. Isn't that cool?
So what Nick is showing us right now, I see some questions in chat. Yes, this is available on Glowforge Premium. Your Glowforge does come with some amount of time to use and try out Premium for free. And then we run different offers for either a monthly subscription, yearly, etc. And it's pretty cool because as you can tell by my shock and awe at that feature, it is being updated constantly. But of course, you do not need a premium subscription to use your Glowforge. You can use any of those other design tools that we mentioned before, anything that basically can produce a PDF and that you can just drag right into your Glowforge app. Then you can go from there. Yeah, I'm seeing people say, oh, I use Illustrator, I use this and that.
Absolutely.
It meets you where you are design wise, which is great. And the other thing, Nick kind of briefly mentioned this before, but there is nothing to download with Glowforge or update. So we have a whole team of engineers, both hardware and software, that are working on this machine constantly, and it evolves all the time. Since we launched 5 years ago, we've launched countless new software features. The machine can do things it could not do, but you didn't have to download anything.
No, we just enabled it for you. Yeah.
Right. So,
and in fact, in many cases, you don't even know that just happened. Just in the case of Bailey, if you don't keep up with our announcements and things like that, and that's totally fine. Totally fine.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with all the company announcements. There's too much.
Now, I wasn't with this design gonna just kick it off really quick so we can keep talking, but I feel like we're in it now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a couple more details about the software and how we'd actually start this print, especially because in this situation on my screen, you can see we've got a couple of different colors going on, and I wanted to explain what they mean. Essentially, these colors are telling me that these blue shapes right here have had some settings applied to them. As in, we have told the laser what to do with these shapes. And that is a combination of speed and power that, like Bailey said, is already saved into the app. This one here, the one that we just added, well, Glowforge doesn't really know what our intentions were yet. It doesn't know what we wanted to do with it. And all we have to do to change that from red to blue and therefore be able to print it is to find it on the left-hand side here, which is where our print steps are. And it's up here. And you'll notice it says enter settings just underneath. And if I click into this, I can go down to my custom settings here, click Slate, and you'll notice that turns blue, and that is now ready to go. Now, the rest of these, we don't really need right now for this demo. So I can just grab them and I can move them off to the side like this, or I could delete them all together if you prefer. It's entirely up to you. There's plenty of room to move your shapes around. I'm a pretty messy worker when it comes to these things. So I like to keep a lot of stuff off to the side because you never know when you're going to need it again. It looks like I missed a few bits here, so I can bring these along. And oh, you know what? I actually noticed those pieces there came from Suzanne. So let's undo that like that, because I don't want to leave that design before. Yeah. And let's group it. All we're going to do is click and drag. We can right click, choose group, and now all of that stuff will stay together. So I won't accidentally move it again. Yeah, that was one of the features that took a little while for us to release, but I was so happy when it came out. It really is. All right, so those are off to the side. Next thing, super cool feature. And this is something you absolutely don't appreciate unless you've used a laser before, and that's totally fine, but I'm gonna tell you about it anyway.
Because who's used a laser? Not many of us.
I didn't when I first started,
yeah,
that's for
exactly.
Sure. But for some background, there's a lens inside that laser, just like in your glasses, and it has to focus the laser beam really precisely on the surface of the material to engrave and cut it properly. And typically, you'd have to get in there with a little tool, a little fixture, and adjust the height of that manually, which is fine, but we're human, we make mistakes. It's hard to do that kind of thing, right? Yep. So we just made a robot do it for you. And we have a special tool that you can use to take a really accurate measurement of your machine, of your material. And this is important because it allows us to print really accurately. And this is called set focus. It's right here in 3 dots, set focus. And all I do is click on that material right now. And if we switch that overhead cam, Mike, if you see it, perfect. This piece here is what we call the Glowforge printer head. That's where the laser comes out of. And that just came along right now, took a photograph of that slate coast that we put in there, and did a whole bunch of math that's way more complicated than I could ever do, and automatically configured a bunch of things within the software. So we don't have to think about it. And that's it, essentially. We're ready to print. At that point, we've chosen our design, we've arranged our design, we've told the machine how high the material is, and therefore it can do all the fine tuning for you. It has its settings baked in. All we have to do is hit print. Simple as that.
So Nick just hit print from his computer, and what's happening now, it is sending the design up to the cloud. So Glowforge uses Wi-Fi for everything, so you do need Wi-Fi to print. And our button is glowing right now. There's just the one, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's just the one button right here on the front, and it's glowing. So you press that to make it start. If you were to lose Wi-Fi connectivity after the print starts, the Glowforge already has the print in its brain. I think that's the technical term, right?
I think so, yeah.
And it will be able to finish it. So that is always a question, a concern, especially with some of the, people get really hours long
really big complex stuff
and worry about that darn Wi-Fi. I lost power a couple times this morning, so just some electrical work apparently on schedule.
Yeah, of course,
but I am going to go ahead and press the button, and let's see the print.
Let's kick it off. Also in the app, once you send the print, it will tell you exactly how long it's going to take, which is great for setting your expectation.
Yes.
For this particular design right now on this piece of slate, we're looking at just over 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 40 seconds, I think it was, something like that. So we know exactly how long it's going to take. And from here on out, we can keep talking or fall into silence like we often do because it's just so fun to watch.
I know. We're like, whoa, it appears so fast. This is in real time, obviously.
Typically, we'd have a handheld camera to be able to show you what's going on underneath the printer head right there, but we couldn't get it attached to the Zoom call, which is a shame. But you can see that little flash that's happening underneath. That is the laser. And that's literally a beam of light that's hitting that material and is creating that design on the surface. And we're using stone right now. We're not digging particularly deep into the stone when we're discoloring the surface, but it's a permanent mark and it's very beautiful. And in fact, yeah, this is great. We could show you some while it's printing.
Yeah, so if I put this down here, we've got a close-up cam. You can see that, and it's actually quite smooth to the touch. It's not going to be like you put a drink on it and the drink kind of falls over or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dishwasher safe as well. I mean, here's another example here. That's a piece of granite. We have here a piece of mirrored glass. Coasters. And the same principles apply. You create your design, add your settings for things like
blind everyone doing that. Sorry, everyone.
For things like mirror and glass and granite, where you're not actually engraving deep into the surface, you can be very flexible with your settings. I generally use the same sort of setting for anything like this, and it works perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Metal too. That's another good example. We can't actually cut metal and we can't engrave into metal and carve into it like you might expect. But if the metal has a coating or if it's painted or something like that, then we can remove that coating with the laser.
For example, an anodized aluminum MacBook or iPhone. I don't think this one, I haven't.
No, I don't think mine has either, unfortunately.
But my, which is a shame. This is a newer laptop. My last Glowforge laptop was looked like it spent some time in a tattoo parlor. Yeah, exactly. It's so fun.
It's good. It's really good. And actually, those settings are built into the app too. If you're interested in engraving something that's metal, you can search for MacBook or iPhone or something like that, and you'll find those settings right in the app. But you can see our first design appearing right here. Yeah, actually, it's the second one, isn't it? We can see that the paintbrush has already been finished. And the next one is going to be that ruler right here. And we have 3 minutes left. And as soon as it's finished, we can take it right out. It's ready to go. And let's say you're one of the entrepreneurial types. You might want to be making these either for gifts or to sell or something like that. You could absolutely put, say, 9 to 12 coasters, however many you could fit in there. And you could send all of them to print at the same time. Another
really smart thing to do is say that you sell customized coasters. Let's say someone's name or a phrase or something, you could print just the border, just the artwork that would be the same for everyone. And then as the orders roll in, or, I've seen folks engrave on the spot at craft fairs too, bring the Glowforge to the craft fair. Then as the orders roll in, then you finalize the engrave, just the name, just the customization. And that way the finishing time is really short. One thing we should touch on for sure, because I saw someone mention it in chat, is we were talking about design. We were talking about all these different design programs you can use with Glowforge. We failed to mention that you actually don't need to use a design program at all.
You're absolutely right.
The camera in the Glowforge allows us to actually capture, digitize, and cut, engrave, score, hand-drawn images as well. So we call it our trace feature. But what it means is, you can take hand-drawn anything, put it in the Glowforge and engrave it on something. So right here, let's see. So here is, if we go to our close-up cam again, here's like a recipe. So handwritten recipe. And we put this piece of paper directly in the Glowforge, and then we captured it and engraved it onto, sorry, we can't get closer than this, but onto this Slate cake tray. And it is, again, really similar to the print that we're doing right now. Smooth to the touch. Looks gorgeous and high end. I mean, imagine this as a wedding gift.
It's like a 3D photocopy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's a nice way to put it.
I mean, of course, people get so creative with the things that they capture. It's perfect for anything nostalgic or personal. I mean, wedding gifts, anything with children, obviously.
Yeah.
Children's handwriting is the cutest.
That is true. Especially when you blow it up really big too.
Oh, adorable. If the letters are backwards,
even better.
Done.
Even better.
Yeah.
And if they're not, you can always cut one of the letters out and make it backwards.
Cute.
Pretend your kid is still cute. Yeah. This is a pretty extreme example of trace, but this is actually a guitar with a design on it that one of our former colleagues drew by hand. And we put this in the Glowforge. This guitar came as a kit, so the body itself fit right in there. And we were able to engrave that into the surface of this to create this custom design. And we actually created this custom pick guard too out of acrylic to fit around the design and the various parts of the guitar.
And by the way, she drew it smaller than that, and we blew it up to be able to fit on the guitar. And we could, if we had the digital design design, we could do the same design on a ukulele or on a toy guitar or
So
something.
we did that.
Oh, did we do? I haven't seen the ukulele.
Yeah, no, not for ukulele, but a miniature version of the electric guitar,
Oh.
because they had the whole idea is this was a present for their fiance at the time,
Oh, okay.
husband, don't remember. And they have a young son, Fox, and we made a miniature one of these as part of the video.
Cute.
So he has his own tiny, like half-size version.
Cute,
Anyway,
cute.
Trace, it's very, very powerful. It's very, very cool. It can be anything from hand drawings and handwriting, like Bailey said. It could even be your business card. You know,
Yeah.
if you have a logo or something like that, you can stick it in there, scan it, and then print that.
Another coworker story. We hire really fun, creative people here at Glowforge. We're lucky. We had a coworker who had her grandparents' dance card from the night that they met in like the 1940s, and she put that into the Glowforge and created wooden ornaments for her whole family that had like the grandparents' names on it and the number of dances that they had the first night they met. Like,
that's so cool.
Amazing. I love it.
Here it is. It's finished.
Here it is.
Yeah, as you probably saw, I took that out right away. It's not hot. It's not dangerous. Also, if you were to open the lid while the laser was running, the laser would switch off completely and the printer head itself would return to home. So let's say you do have young children around who might be curious. If they open the lids, mine definitely does try and do that on occasion.
It just pauses.
Yes, it just stops. So you're totally fine. Excellent.
We do get a lot of questions about the laser tattoo, but no, we have engineered that to be an impossibility.
Yes.
So
would not recommend.
Exactly. I saw a question about maximum size. Yes, great question. So right now, everything that we're printing is an 1.5 inches or less in height. If we wanted to go higher than that, though, like if we had, well, I've got this like little flask here. This actually looks like it doesn't need the tray removed.
That does.
This does because there's a crumb tray inside the Glowforge. That's what we call it. It's a stainless steel tray that you can see it to the left and right of the paper there. And you can take it out. It's nice and dusty right now. It collects all the refuse from your prints. But if you take it out, it gives you some more vertical height there. So you can get, I think, about
2 inches.
Yeah. Okay. So is it a 1/2 inch and then 2 inches?
Yes.
Did I say that backwards?
Yeah,
Okay.
you got
Sorry
it.
about that. A 1/2 inch, not 1.5 inches. 1/2 inch. So proof grade materials are mostly about 1/4 inch. You can cut through pretty predictably and reliably most 1/4 inch materials. And then to go bigger than that, to engrave on something thicker, a MacBook, a cutting board, things like that, you'll want to remove the tray, and it's just easy like that.
When I heard you say maximum size, I thought you meant sort of length and width.
Well, let's talk about
Maybe,
that.
yeah, just in case that's what you meant, I quite possibly misunderstood. But for a Glowforge Plus or a Pro, this here is the maximum bed size. This is 20 by 12 inches. So it's pretty big. You can fit a lot of stuff on here. I mean, I think I saw that drinks tray around the front, Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
That's a pretty good example of something that kind of
almost a full bed print
maximizes the entire print, entire material size.
This is also something I designed completely in the Glowforge Premium tool. So this is like a caddy that would fit 6 different drinks, and I put in different spring cocktails, a strawberry citrus spritz, if you will. I was thirsty, I guess, when I was making this. But this is all clip art from the tool, and this is just ready for like a little spring garden party now.
Yeah, really, really simple. But the Glowforge Pro can take material that is 20 inches wide by infinite length, essentially. Now, in terms of proof grade, we do sell material like this. This is 4 feet long by 20 inches wide. Ooh. Again, you're not forced to use proof grade. You could absolutely go down to Home Depot or somewhere like that, and you could get them cut material like this into the size that you're interested in. But we do have these ready to go if you're interested. And the idea is you could, well, I suppose there's 2 different things. You could just print normal size stuff on this, and you just keep moving the material through the machine as you use it.
Maximum efficiency.
Absolutely. Or you could design something really, really big. And then what you do is you throw the material in the machine. It prints as much as it can. You move it a little bit. It prints the next bit, as much as it can. And you keep repeating that until the print's finished. And it's basically using computers and cameras and all that jazz to figure out where it finished and therefore where it should start again. And it lines everything up automatically for you, so you don't have to.
And that's an example of something that was a dream for the Glowforge team to achieve when we launched this product 5 years ago, and now it works and people are using it every day. And
it's wizardry, essentially, right?
What?
Wizardry,
it really is computer wizardry. Yeah.
I mean, just to give an example, like this is something that we made with the pass-through. So this is 2 pieces of plywood, cherry and maple, and this top section here is actually, I guess, maybe you might be able to see it from that overhead. Not really sure, but there's some thickness to it, which is really nice.
Yeah,
very
it's like a
pleasing to see.
dimensional sign.
Yeah, and that was all printed in one go. And you can see the detail that's in there too. I mean, imagine trying to do that with a scroll saw or a craft knife or something like that.
So I see some questions about different materials. If I buy a clear clipboard, can I engrave on it, or will it be too thin? Great news, almost nothing is too thin to engrave on. You can literally engrave on printer paper.
Yeah, remember
which
this?
I saw. Yeah, this is cardstock, so this is even thicker than it might need to be, but we could have done an engrave. I've seen cool engraves on paper before. A clear clipboard, it's probably acrylic. You'll want to make sure it's acrylic. With plastics, you do want to be a bit careful with unknown plastics and your Glowforge. I would recommend, if you're ever just unsure about a material you want to try, checking the forum to see if someone else has tried the exact same thing. They really could have, especially if you got it at a big box store like Michael's, or just contacting the manufacturer and saying, is this a laser safe product? They might know.
Yeah,
you never
often do. A lot of people.
A
do
lot
use
of people
these
do
things.
laser. My beanie I wore in today has a little, leather patch on it.
We have a top tip for you, actually. If you're engraving clear acrylic or something else that's transparent.
Glass.
Yeah, the glass is a great example. Actually, where's that mirror one? Is that still around
after
somewhere?
I flashed everyone's eyes out. Yeah.
What you should do, well, this is optional. What I would recommend that you do is take your design, flip it backwards, and engrave the back of the clipboard.
So this is coated, and then we've engraved off the black mirror coating.
And that way, when you turn it over, same with the clipboard, it's going to be perfectly smooth on the side where you rest your paper. So that way your pen isn't going to get stuck in like the little grooves and things like that that the laser's going to leave. And that tool to flip the design, it's in the software too.
We're at 2:30. We want to do 3 prints, so we better get on.
Sorry. Okay.
With it.
All right. Next one. We thought we'd do a stamp.
Yes.
We like the stamps.
Yeah.
They're fun to do. They're kind of expensive to buy sometimes as well.
Custom stamps.
Custom stamps. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Or sometimes you just need one that, maybe the store is out of stock of or something like this. So earlier on today, I was playing around. I found again in Glowforge Premium, which uses the Noun Project library.
That's the clip art tool.
The clip art tool. This little icon here, which is kind of a ball of yarn and 2 needles. There we go. Just like that. So very, very simple. And I actually used a piece of material from Michael's to make this. This is just EVA foam. Very simple craft foam.
Yeah, this is the thicker width. They have a thinner width too. And I think it was like $2 or $1 a sheet.
Comes in a bunch of different colors. I've got a white one right now in the machine because it was hard to see the black one earlier on today. So I put the white one in there. And I'm going to show you very quickly how we can make that stamp and also make a little stamp handle at the same time using all of the tools that are built into here. Now, I'm just going to refresh for a second. And you know what I need? Michael's our producer. Do you mind grabbing my power adapter from my bag?
Oh,
please?
Is that computer going to
Totally
die?
forgot to plug my computer in.
Oh, goodness.
That's all right. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
You could use this one here, Mike. Want to grab that? We can just pass this over.
Does it reach?
Thanks for bearing with us. We love live TV.
We get so excited about talking to people and we forget about these.
Is that one going to reach for you?
Yeah, I'll make it work. Perfect. All right.
We've got power.
We have power. All right. So in a second, Michael will switch over to our my screen again, and I'll show you what we're working with here. Perfect. All right. Excellent. So to make this design, it's going to be really simple. Again, all I'm going to do is head up to the Add Artwork button. I'm going to search for the thing that I want to search for. Now, I searched for this earlier on when I was playing around, so it actually appears down here in this section. And if I wanted to, let's say I really like it, I can hit this little star button down here and favorite it for later. And once again, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to bring it into my software. And once it's added, I can come down here to this little ruler and I can see how big that actually is. And I think we want this to be, looking at this example that I made earlier, about what, 1.5 inches big, something like that. So I can very simply come into here, type in 1.5 inches, and that will adjust the settings. If you're like me and of the European persuasion and you prefer your metric units, you can come into the 3 dots menu here and change to centimeters. So you can do all of that adjustment in millimeters and centimeters instead. We have that option there. And this is basically all we need to create a stamp right now.
This one's easy.
This is the icon. What I'm going to do next is take that same design, copy and paste it, and I'm going to use this bit to make our stamp handle. And we have a tool out here, which is called the outline tool or the create outline tool. And if I click on this, it's going to take that example and create an outline all the way around it. Now you can imagine this being either the stamp handle that we talked about, maybe it's even a gift tag, something like that. For example, if I was to delete that outline, go up to the shapes tool and pick a circle, I can make that just a little bit smaller like this, add it up at the top, drag my line around both of those examples and click create outline one more time. And that outline this time is going to go around the circle.
That is such a neat tool.
And that works for anything too. You can grab multiples of these. We could add some text in there. And when you hit that create new outline tool, that is going to create the outline that we need. So for this particular example, let's get rid of that again. Let's create that simple outline, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now that outline that we created is going to be a cut, and I'm going to take this particular design and cut it out of some wood, and that will be our stamp handle. I'm going to move it off to the side because I don't want to print it just yet. I'm going to turn my attention to this one. Now, when I click on this, you'll notice on the left-hand side again, we've got lots of different icons representing all the different things that we've been creating today, but one of them is blue. You see that one? It's just highlighted a little bit blue, and that's telling me that it corresponds to this. And if I click into it, Glowforge is currently assuming that I want to engrave it, but actually I'm going to cut it this time out of that phone. So all I'm going to do is go up to cut, and then here I've got my custom setting, which again, I got from community.glowforge.com. If I click inside here, you can see what I'm working with if you did want to play around with those settings. It is very simple. It's just a combination of speed and power. And I click the save button here to save that as an EVA foam setting, so it's always there for my future reference. And you'll notice how that's now changed to a red outline as opposed to a red fill. It's not shaded anymore. And that tells me that it's going to cut. Now, the next thing I need to do is get Glowforge to update the image in the bed right now, because we're still seeing that green paper. And I think that's because the office Wi-Fi here is a little sketchy sometimes. And it can drop off. Yeah, it's true. We have so many different cameras here. But we open and close the lid. That prompts the machine to scan once again, take a new photograph using that same camera in the lid, and hopefully this time update in my software right here. Now, of course, it could also be my computer that fell off the Wi-Fi too. So we'll see what happens in just a second. But that, in essence, is all we have to do. Now, to print the stamp handle, I'm going to use some wood, like I mentioned. And I think we have, where did I put it? Some 1/4-inch material here. Yeah, here we go. Excuse me while I ungracefully bend down on the floor here. This here is some thick cherry plywood that I happen to have on hand. Again, it's a proof grade material. You don't have to use this one if you don't want to. But we didn't mention this before, but the wood materials that we sell are all pre-sanded and pre-finished with a furniture grade varnish, if you like. Right now it looks white, looks kind of dirty, and that's because we have this protective coating on here. And if I peel that back, you can see that beautiful material that's underneath right there.
Yeah, and the reason that we do the coating is because, as you can see on the bits that have been cut, there's a little bit of like shadowing, that kind of smoke, that laser look, you know, we've all seen it at 1,000 craft fairs, the box that has the smoke around every joint sort of thing, the classic 90s look. So we just messed up that QR code, but that's what the QR code would look like. That will help identify the material to your Glowforge when you pop it in there. So, and do you want to grab that starter pack right there? Real quick?
Sure.
When you buy your Glowforge, if you're listening to us talk about proofgrade right now and you are skeptical, I totally understand, because you know, companies want you to buy the things that they make.
Yeah,
I get it.
sure.
And I want you to buy proofgrade, don't get me wrong. But what's great is you get to try it out essentially for free, because this pack comes with your Glowforge. This is worth about $150 because this has pieces of leather, hardwood, plywood, acrylic, all sorts of stuff. I mean, you could make quite a bit. We actually want to do a whole video on all the things that you could make. I would love to see just the pile. I think we could fill this whole table.
It would be incredible.
It would be a lot. Yeah.
Did we, you know what? Did we actually finish talking about the catalog yet? We didn't, did we?
Well, we're going to do it the catalog print, hopefully third.
Yes.
So we'll show them at that.
All right. The reason I mentioned the catalog is Bailey touched on a really great point in that this might be worth $150 in terms of retail value. You get it included with your printer. Yep. A lot of the catalog designs, which you get access to for free when you buy your Glowforge, are actually sellable too. So you can print them and then you can sell them on. So what a lot of our customers I know do, just as part of their experimentation, is print a whole bunch of different things, get familiar with the machine, but then sell what it is that they make, which helps to pay back the cost of extra materials or the machine or whatever it might be, which is pretty genius, really. And you know, if you're selling earrings at $10 a pop, there's about 11 sheets of material here. Imagine how many earrings that could be. Yeah,
and the catalog that he's referring to is the Glowforge Design Catalog, which is an alternative to designing it all, whether you want to use subscription or Adobe Illustrator. You could also just buy pre-made designs, pre-designed projects, whether that's home decor or jewelry or organization tools or functional things like rulers or what's the leather pony, things like that. The stitching pony, exactly. All sorts of things like that. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of designs in the catalog, and they're available either many of them are free with subscription, or you can pay per design and then they are sellable. Also, you could go on marketplaces like Etsy, because there are a lot of people out there who are like laser designers these days, and there's amazing stuff out there, and there's everything. Like I made my sister-in-law what was it that I made for her? I engraved a French bulldog wearing a flower crown on a little glass bottle for her because she just got a French bulldog. So I mean, you can find that file on the internet.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have everything connected again, so I can show you on our screen that piece of white foam that we were talking about. I think, oh, maybe I'm disconnected now. It's one thing after another today, isn't it? There we go. All right. So if that reconnects, let's see if it does. This bit will be familiar to you anyway. Oh, there we go. Perfect. You'll be able to see on the screen right here that design that we just put together. And I'm going to move it up to the top right-hand corner, top left-hand corner, sorry, of my material. And then once again, I'm going to use that set focus tool here, just so I can focus the laser and figure out exactly how high it is and therefore print this as accurately as I can. And then as soon as we've done that, all we're going to do is hit print, and we're going to print out this particular graphic. Then we'll switch this out for the piece of wood. We're going to do the same thing with the piece of wood, but we'll engrave that design on there and then cut it out. And then a couple of dabs of glue, maybe some double-sided tape, whatever you have.
It's a stamp.
It's a stamp. Simple as that. All right, so let's move that here. We've got our print. Let's hit that. I think this is about 16 seconds.
Oh gosh. Okay, so don't look away.
Yeah,
don't check
blink.
your email. I saw someone saying, where's the link to the recording? I got distracted with the email. That's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna press the button and then we'll go to the overhead.
Perfect. Now I made this one a little bit bigger than my test. So actually this is 30 seconds, but again, that's 30 seconds, right? We can probably manage with 30 seconds. And oh, it's such a shame. It's so bright because it's white. Oh, you can see it.
You can kind of see it. It's a little blown out because of the lighting. It's a struggle between trying to let you see inside and
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that though. It's so fast.
And it's pretty quick. Oh, you know what? That's why it's 30 seconds.
Because what, did you do 2 of them?
I did. I accidentally left the stamp handle here on my material.
Oops.
Oh, oops. Well, there we go. What I was able to do there is press cancel in the app and it canceled the prints. Now it's a shame I could enter that a little bit there, but that's fine. Now, I chose to use that white material here because I thought it would show up differently on the camera, but we learned something together here today. Interestingly, the white material prints very differently to the black material.
Look at this.
That's pretty incredible.
So, Nick,
all right, so we're learning on the fly here.
So it cut through when we tested this earlier. Oops, on the black, but then on the white, it didn't. It's a different density.
It's very melty, actually, the white. Yeah. So let's stick the black one in there instead.
Experimentation. You're seeing it in real time. This is the life of a Glowforge owner, or really using any tool though, right? I mean, gosh.
But I'll show you how quick it is to reprint these things too, which is nice. You're not necessarily wasting any time. You're learning all the step of the way. If we wanted to spend a bit of time, we could futz with those settings, right? Because that looks a little melty to me.
So turning down the power, turning up the speed, so it goes a little faster. Those are some things like, if we were determined to use white foam today, we could figure out how to make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we have time at the end, maybe we will. But I wanted to show you how the stamp goes together more so than futzing with the white foam.
Can you not rescan and save the white material? We could. We just would want to figure out the proper. There's no code for the white material because this is not a Glowforge product. This is just an off-the-shelf product from Michael's, from another brand that we are, exploring and experimenting with to find how it works with Glowforge.
That's it. And this can happen on occasion, and it's totally fine. You'll have to sacrifice a little bit of material when you're doing experiments, but it works just okay. And this for me worked really well earlier, so let's see how it works today. Looks good. But I'm guessing it's because the black is a darker color. Because we're using light, it's probably absorbing the light slightly differently.
Oh, physics. Did y'all hear that?
That would be my guess. Don't quote me on that, but I think that might be what's going on.
Makes sense to me. Did you just print both of them twice again?
Did I? Yeah, I probably did. Ah, well,
that's okay.
We'll get 2 stamps, I suppose.
It's quick.
This is what I get for having so much fun, not paying attention. But there we go. So we'll wait for that to return home.
Someone's asking about smoking and why our machine doesn't smoke. Well, our machine would smoke inside. All materials let off some kind of smoke and particulates. It kind of just depends. the foam doesn't seem like it lets off much visible that you can see, but we are hooked up, of course, to an air filter. So every time that you print with a Glowforge, you have to have a plan for ventilation. Glowforge comes with a dryer hose, like for your AC unit or something. So I think Nick and I both at home, our units just, we just stick the dryer hose out a window when we're printing. And otherwise the window's closed and the dryer hose is just, folded in the background. Here we are using, because we're inside, we don't have a window, the Glowforge air filter. That's also available on michaels.com. It's a good option if you want to. Oh, I was like, you're not grabbing the air filter, certainly. Usually we can show you with we have it down here behind the table. Usually we can show you with a handheld, but it's a little white box that looks like a recycling bin or something about like so. And so you can check those out on Michaels as well. And that's just great. You can print in, a classroom, a basement apartment, anything.
If you have Wi-Fi and power, that would give you a self-contained setup where you could print anywhere.
I mean,
if you had a generator in the woods, and a wireless hotspot, you could print in the middle of the woods.
Although I guess you wouldn't need to vent outside, would you? But
well, yeah, maybe not. But you could if you wanted to. You could if you wanted to. All right, next part of the prints. I'll keep this moving. This time I won't print two of them by accident, but I've got our thick cherry plywood in here right now, and you'll see up in the top left-hand corner, the software automatically detected what's in there based on that QR code. If for any reason the QR code was destroyed, let's say we cut through it because we're using all of our material, absolutely feel free to do that, by the way. We can come into here and we can start typing cherry, and we can find thick cherry plywood in the settings menu anyway. And then here I've got my design. Now, the outside of this, I want it to be a cut. And right now, Glowforge has automatically detected that to be a cut. And the inside here, I currently have set to that engrave. I'm going to use a different technique just to show you something slightly different now, and that is a score. And a score is just like a pen. It's going on the surface of the material, creating a consistent line, literally just like you were drawing on the surface. It's like a cut that doesn't go all the way through.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a good guideline for if you're going to fold something, if you're going to layer one material on top of the other, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here we have our design, again, ready to go. I'm going to move it up to the top left-hand corner, hit print. And actually, while that's doing, let's just check that I didn't leave anything else on the artboard. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Once again, the laser head comes across, does all that cool calculation stuff. In a few moments, once it's sent everything up to the cloud and done all that processing, the light will shine on the button.
There it is.
And it looks like we're ready to go.
Go ahead. I've been pressing it this whole class.
All right. It's very satisfying. There we go. And this is 1 minute 18. It's very, very quick.
Let's see. I just saw a really good question. Oh, are there other videos for setup and starting to use the Glowforge with the product that it comes with? Yes. Nick and I actually host a weekly stream on the Glowforge Facebook page and YouTube. And then we've also produced a bunch of other videos like, you do a setup one. I'll tell you though, I just want to mention, we did a video on setup, but you don't really need it. It's really easy. No offense, Nick. It's a great video, but most of our customers tell us that they actually are printing within about 30 minutes of getting their Glowforge. You just need another person to help you open the box and get the Glowforge out because it is a pretty, hefty machine. But once you have it up on a flat surface, the Wi-Fi connection process takes like 30 seconds. It's quite easy. Just really like setting up any other like smart device in your home, like a thermostat or anything. Well, thermostat makes it sound complicated. There's no electrical wiring, to be clear.
It's much easier than your VCR, that's for
sure. So right, real easy and really very low maintenance. It is built to be used at your home.
Yes, but absolutely. If you do want to watch those videos, Basics with Bailey is one of the series. Glowforge Essentials is the other. You'll find them on our YouTube channel. And they're all available there for you. There's also, if you're interested, lots of information that comes from our customers too.
Oh yeah.
So if you like seeing other people's, reviews of the products and things like that, there's tons of that stuff on YouTube to check out.
Okay, can you reach that for me?
Yeah, I can get that. So this is finished, and let me see if this works.
Look at that.
How
the
cool.
moment.
It's so satisfying. So that was in real time. This is 1/4 inch thick. This material right here. I guess it's kind of hard
we've
for you
got here.
to see. Yeah.
We've got the stamp handle bit and the stamp bit. So what you would do is glue this to this.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Like
I'm sort of making this up as I go along.
And then you have a stamp.
What I intended to do was get some double-sided tape and put it on the back of the foam before we cut it. And that way we'd be able to peel off the back of the double-sided tape and stick them together. But of course, I couldn't find double-sided tape right now. So I've got some super glue. Let's try it with that instead. So while we keep chatting, I'll glue this together.
Absolutely. Lots of questions. I'm interested in using Glowforge for clear acrylic for display cases. Oh yeah. I mean, we love using clear acrylic. That tip Nick was saying earlier about engraving on the back is a good tip. I did clear acrylic signage for my wedding a few years ago, and it was very on trend. It looked very Pinteresty and beautiful. So we love that material. I'm in the beginning stages of considering a Glowforge. I hear it's very loud, but you two don't seem to be having any difficulty talking to each other. Thoughts? No, that's a concern that we hear all the time. I would say it is about as loud as a handheld vac, like the little dustbuster handheld one. So you can speak comfortably over it. I mean, Nick and I are using theater voices.
Yes, we are projecting.
Acting. This isn't like how loud I'd be able to talk to him, if we were in the office together and there was people working next to us. So there's a little bit of noise, but it's not super disruptive. Like I print in my office while my husband is on calls in the next room, my office, their guest bedrooms next to each other, working from home. And it's not like I have to make sure he's not on a call to use the Glowforge or anything like that. Yeah,
I think that's good. And actually, secret tip, the compact filter, there's a toggle that you enable in the software when you're using that.
Right.
It does actually make the whole thing quieter too.
Because
which seems counterintuitive.
I think it's something to do with the Glowforge maybe adjusts its use of internal fans because it knows that you have a filter attached to it. So that actually can make it quieter.
So here's our stamp. Now looking at that, I realized I could have made the outline a little bit less exaggerated. And you see there, I left the paper on deliberately where I scored that design. So on the front of it, it kind of looks like the yarn and the needles are. Yeah, right here. Looks like the yarn and the needles are a different color. This is a pretty cool technique, actually. Does that work? You might have to do it on the flat bit. Let's see.
Look at that.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and
so
we wanted to mention, we don't have time to do another stamp today, but you can also print rubber stamps on Glowforge. There's laser safe rubber. And then with that, you can get a much higher level of detail than you would with foam. So these are two examples of ones that we've made. I mean, look at that. And so that uses a slightly different technique where one, if you're doing text or really doing anything at all, you need to make sure that you flip it. And also what you do is you engrave, you invert the image so that you are engraving away everything but the bit that you want stamped.
Yes. And fun fact, there is actually a stamp making tool built into the software. Another one of those things that we've worked on, which will create that inverted image for you so you can print on stamp roller.
Okay.
And this stuff is, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying we have 7 minutes left and I want to show them the catalog.
Yes, catalog, yes.
Last print that we'll do today is something from the Glowforge catalog. We mentioned before, this is so many different designs. Let's go ahead and look at Nick's screen now. I think it's called, oh gosh, what's it called? Hanging.
Oh yeah, if I search for planter, I can find it.
Okay, great.
I was showing you all designs. There's a ton of different stuff in here, all the way from cardboard puppets down to jewelry. A lot of this is made by our customers. There's some things from Glowforge in there too. We have a search bar up here, and if I search for planter, I'll be able to find what we're looking for.
You see life-size puppet theater right there on the screen. Then you'll notice that behind Nick's shoulder. If we go back to him real quick, we have that there.
Oh, sorry, I'm standing in the way.
Nick's head.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, if we're thinking about crafting and things like that,
so
cardboard.
Cool. Oh yeah, this cardboard.
Yeah, settings is built into the app again, so just pop the cardboard back in. We all have a lot of boxes at home at the moment. So.
Yeah. All right, so
back
we're
to
going
my
to do
screen.
this hanging planter.
Yes.
One of my COVID hobbies is definitely house plants. I've got a few.
And this is just an example of one of the designs that's in the catalog. This one is free with premium. So when you get your Glowforge, you get 30 days, I think, of free access to this particular design. You can buy them on an individual basis if you wanted to. And like I mentioned before, looking at this, it does have a commercial license, which means that you could print this and then sell the finished thing. So you could very easily recoup the cost of the design, that's for sure. Then all we have to do is click Open My Design. And what that's going to do is launch the Glowforge app. Same thing that we've just been looking at. We'll see the design preloaded in there right now. Now, it looks a little dark, again, because we don't have any material in bed. But what I do want to draw your attention to is this right-hand side here, which are the instructions for our designs. Some of them have assembly. And if they do, we have some photographs and some written instructions to explain exactly how everything goes together, all built in. And for these designs here, we can start to add our own embellishment. Let's say we want to add text or something like that, or we deleted one of half or something because we wanted to print it in 2 different types of materials. there is a reset design button right here, which will reset the design back to how it originally was. So if you do make any changes accidentally, you can always get back to how you were. But in a nutshell, this is it. We have our first part of the print, because this is a 2-print process. We have these 2 pieces and then the circle. Everything is set up, ready to go. We know our material. We know it's going to be a cut. All we have to do is hit print. So you see how much more quicker, It's a lot quicker. Wow. I'll be over here if you need me.
The Pro is the quickest. Or are you just saying how cuts are so much quicker than engraves?
The catalog.
Oh.
Because you don't have to think about anything. Even the arranging of the design in your materials, everything happens really fast. Now, I think this will be about 5 minutes or so. Oh, 8 minutes, this one. So let's kick it off and let's see how far we can get through. And this is a piece of medium maple plywood. It's an 1/8 of an inch thick. It's solid wood. And again, this is real time that we're looking at right now. And the Glowforge is cutting all the way through in one pass. Maybe I should have miniaturized it.
Right. I wanted to mention, someone said, how small can you print on a stamp? And that's actually one of the most incredible things about Glowforge, is that because we're working with lasers and computers and digital designs, that we really can work in tiny, tiny levels of detail. Glowforge actually can cut or engrave to the width of a human hair. So, I mean, very, very intricate designs. And actually, I know you're about to show the stamp, but can also engrave details as photos. So this actually is a piece of wood that is engraved with this photo. We've done a tutorial on that. This is a really amazing, popular thing to do. So just teasing that right there for you. But Nick just gave us an example of one of these other stamps, the rubber stamps that we have right here. And then, and gosh, even for scale.
This isn't as small as you can go. It just so happens to be the smallest one that I have. But that's probably, what would you say, like a size 11 font at the bottom, something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, roughly. But I think you could go down to about a size 8 with standard rubber, and you can actually buy stamp rubber that's designed for extra detail.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and you can go down even smaller at that point too.
How much time do we have left on this? Oh, we're not going to finish.
We're not going to finish this one.
Wow,
unfortunately.
we'll be printing while we
get
end.
Out?
Yeah, while we get kicked out.
Maybe we can print 1/2 and then we can.
Sure.
Yeah. We should have pre-printed it, shouldn't we? Hindsight.
Next time.
Yes, next time. All right, more questions then. Let's do that.
Yes. Can I engrave bottles? If so, how big can I go? Again, it's that limitation of just taking the crumb tray out or not. So we do like little glass bottles. I don't see any sitting right here. There's a aluminum flask here, which is a cool little curved shape.
Like the flattened ones, like maple syrup and hot sauce and things like that. Those fit in there really nicely. We actually have some customers who did, no, it was a school, in fact, who did like a hot sauce challenge, I think.
Oh, yeah.
They engraved their own
I
designs
totally
on
saw
the
that.
bottles.
Maddie is saying we can go over by a few minutes to let this half.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Maddie.
Finish. So, yay. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many chat questions. I'm so sorry. This has been like hundreds of questions. Where do you get the rubber? Good question. I think that we got this specifically on Amazon, but yeah, maybe Michael's, if you want to stock laser safe rubber, there's some folks out here who want to make stamps.
I mean, you could use anything too.
Yeah.
Leather, wood, something like that.
True.
As long as you have an ink that will stick to it nicely, you could use those materials.
And the stamping technique as well, you could apply to debossing. So you could create, like, do you have that on you?
I do, yeah.
Reach it into his pocket.
Yeah, there we go.
This is a wallet, a card holder that Nick made years ago now. And you can see the gorgeous patina. He hand stitched this. By the way, we didn't even talk about leather. But Glowforge and leather working is incredible. And those holes, the stitch holes, were cut with the Glowforge. So Nick was actually able to stitch this together by hand with no specialized tools. But you can see this emboss on it of like a kraken, the waves and the kraken arm coming out there. Was done by engraving on a piece of acrylic and then stamping. I think maybe you got this wet. Is that what you did? Or did you just apply pressure?
Yeah, a little bit wet and then some pressure over time. Yeah, called debossing. Cool. Works really well. Really, really well.
Can you laser driftwood or river rocks with varied surface height? Yes.
We just did it, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a whole episode on engraving river rocks recently. Yeah, we have a couple of them here. This one's got a really cool uneven surface, and you can see the peace sign. And I mean, this is I don't know. I'm not a rock expert, but oh, it's not a peace sign. Sorry, it's like a rock on sign. Mike just did it at me. Rock. Oh, I get it. We were being punny. That's right. That's why it's a rock sign. I don't know what type of rock this is, but you can see that the result is that it engraved black. It, some kind of chemical reaction to the heat. That was the result there. Here's an oyster shell because we're here in the Pacific Northwest. That one though, and that one did not turn blue. We filled that in with a marker. We were just playing around with it, but yeah, lots of fun to be had with natural materials for sure. And yes, it could stay in focus with a curve of about, I think, of a half an inch.
Oh yeah. It depends on the level of detail you're looking at, but an undulating surface would be fine. Yeah.
They sell tracker holders for pet collars and engraved. Whoa, I lost it. And engraved out of leather. It works great. Oh, that's a cool business. I love that. Is this one? Oh,
we
goodness.
got 3 minutes 28.
Okay. How about acrylic? Can it be used? Yes, absolutely. Actually, let's show some more crafts. Let's just show that we have this whole table of amazing things behind us. A lot of these we bought off Etsy from Glowforge owners, believe it or not. But let's show some leather. Like here's a great leather handbag. This is, I believe, a catalog design. Engraves, and then the an emboss for the name stamp right there. Oh, this is a fun technique. Cool. This is made of wood, but the designer used this living hinge technique so that the wood bends and is totally flexible. We did a tutorial on this a few weeks ago too. This is just amazing.
Sort of turns wood into a textile. Yes. It's pretty cool. And I picked this one up because I think this is pretty interesting. This is sort of a mixed media project. The majority of this is actually leather, although they've treated it almost like wood. And then they've added a lot of embellishments that you can find in the I'm sure there's a name for it in Michael's, where you buy the little swords and the sort of metal embellishments that you can use for scrapbooking, things like that, which is really fun.
Yeah.
This Meet Jerry, that's a pretty fun one too.
This is cardboard. This is an example of if you, again, want to give gifts or you sell things, this is like packaging for the item. So Jerry is, a giraffe that needed a sweater. So this would be a little kit that you could cross stitch. So he came, without the yarn and embroidery thread, and I did that to give him a little sweater. And then he could be purchased or gifted or displayed in this custom little container.
That was all Glowforge made. And then storage, of course, is another big one too. This is an acrylic and wood paint storage container. This one here is for acrylic pens, but of course you could change the size of the holes on these to anything that you wanted to. And you could combine different. There.
Yeah,
has it. Yeah, on the side. Yeah. And this was a design I think we bought again, like you said, off Etsy, and then I just added my own spin on it by adding that Monstera leaf. That, $3-4, something like that.
Also, customizing furniture is something that Nick and I are currently getting into. We're shooting a new TV series for our own website called IKEA Hacks, and so we are making over the same IKEA basic big box bookcase in a couple different ways. One with a pegboard, one to make it a bar, one to make it something else really high end. So, I mean, just taking basic stuff and then customizing it. You could have custom everything in your home. It's addictive.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm looking around and we could, how long do you have? We could talk for hours about it. Yeah. All right. How are we looking? 45 seconds left here.
Yes. Thanks to all for hanging out. We've had 300 plus people here pretty much the whole time.
Amazing.
It's been really fun. And I can tell there's a really nice mix of people who are learning about Glowforge for the first time and people who have a Glowforge from the questions I've been seeing. And will we be doing any more classes like this? I don't think that there's any on the calendar, but we'd love to hear suggestions of what you'd like to see. Again, if you joined late, I wanted to mention Glowforge is available online, the Plus and the Pro model. The Pro is what we're cutting with here today. It is 3 times faster than our basic model. And I'm not 2 times faster than our Plus model, I believe. It's the fastest. It has that pass-through slot, and that Plus and Pro model are both available on michaels.com.
That's right. Let's open this up so you can see. Once again, I can reach into here. Let's see if I can.
What foam did we use for the stamp? The foam was
EVA foam made by Craftology, I think it was
Creatology foam sheet from Michaels.
There we go. And here are the parts for our hanger. Of course, don't throw away your scraps. You'll be surprised at how many perfect circles and triangles and things like that you get out of it. You can use those for all sorts of cool things. But here is the beginning of our design. Again, this has that protective paper on the top. So I'm just going to pop those little bits out and we can peel this off. And then what you would do with this particular design I'm wondering if we can use one of those Slate coasters for this, actually.
Stick it in there.
Yeah,
Let's see. I don't, oh, I
a
think it might, be,
circular
it might be
piece.
too thick. Oh,
Oh, this bit.
oh, it's there. Oh, yeah, it's too thick for right there.
Oh,
There's
it's
supposed to be
just
a third piece to this design. Which way does yours go? Because they kind of lay together like
That's
this, and then there's a circular piece on the bottom that would hold the plant. But we've run out of time.
ran
We've
out
gone
of time.
over. Nick and I can't stop talking about lasers.
No,
Good thing
you
they're
think
paying
after
us to
6
do
years
this. Yeah.
we get bored of it, but we really don't.
So this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining us today and for all the questions. Wow, I really do hope we get to see you all here again
Yeah,
soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us, Michaels.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.